What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And Daniel Exafedo.
How's it going, guys?
Can't complain. So welcome to Monday's episode. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. I know I've been saying for weeks now, I'm going to get this episode out. I finally fixed it. Thank you, Riverside. Gave me some new tools. I had some kind of update or something like that. So it won't be perfect. I won't be in most of it. Like you'll hear my words, you hear me speaking, but the video is so out of sync, it's distracting. So you'll see my guest mostly, and then you'll just hear us talking. Or you can listen to the audio version, then it's just, you won't notice anything. And then Friday's everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
Everybody, this article comes from therecord.com, written by Jonathan Greig, or Greig, Greig. Sorry if I messed up your name there, Jonathan, but the title of this one is FAA proposes new cybersecurity rules for airplanes. Okay, so we've talked about this before on the show, right? And this delves right into it, right? So we talked about those 16 pillars of infrastructure, right? And airlines, guess what they fall under? Guess what they fall under? Transportation systems sector, right? Transportation systems, and it's one of the 16, right? So this is why we got to get better at it. And with it being airlines, this is where it makes it a little difficult, right? So this is like the Navy kind of has these experiences as well, right? Because it comes to ships, right? So it's not like it's a stationary land that you can go and protect, and it makes it a lot easier when it's something that just stays in place and you have to do the mitigation, excuse me, we're not going through a divorce. the mitigations, right, for different cybersecurity threats and things of that nature, right? So because you have these things that are mobile and that are going all over the place, it makes it a lot harder, right? Especially in this day and age, when you come to the point where the last several times I've flown on a plane, like Wi-Fi has been a standard thing. You know what I'm saying? So how are you protecting that Wi-Fi? How are you making sure it's secure as you would like for it to be, right? Not as it is. I'm not going to say that, right? Because we know that's not always the best way. The way it is not always the best way it should be. But this is one of those things where you have to be more serious about it. And that's what's coming about from this article, is that they want rules that are going to protect the equipment, the systems, the networks of transport category airplanes, engines, and propellers against intentional, unauthorized electronic interactions that could create safety hazards. And again, it falls under one of the 16 pillars, and this is one of those things where we do mass transit through airplanes, right? So we have already seen it, not just here in America, but here in America, 23 years ago now, where airplanes were used as a weapon, you know what I mean, for terrorism, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird that they're putting so much emphasis on it now, you know what I mean? But this is something that we know can be used as a tool to cause havoc and chaos and like I said, be a weapon for terrorist activity. So the fact that FAA proposes new cybersecurity rules, good. I'm always for moving forward, doing new things, and realizing what you are dealing with, right? So again, because airplanes, trains are mobile, you know what I mean? They do definitely need to be taken more serious, right? As they have been used as weapons in the past. So good to see this about them proposing the new cybersecurity rules, especially towards airplanes, again, because it seems there's all the more need for it as well, because we've seen lately in the news as well as you have these cybersecurity issues that are just slowing down people getting to where they need to go, right? Because we saw it, what was this, a month and a half ago, when it was the
CrowdStrike
issue that happened, right? So airlines were coming to a dead halt, you know what I mean? They showed the map. We talked about it then, as a matter of fact, the map that just showed, because it was the three major airlines that were affected, right? Your American, Delta, United. This is why there needs to be better rules for this, right? So even though the 16 pillars thing, that was something from, I want to say that was 2023, maybe it came into heavy focus when they were talking about that. We're still seeing effects of, I don't want to say improper cybersecurity, but cybersecurity that could be handled better, which makes us need these types of things. But Daniel, what's your thoughts on this, man?
No, I mean, definitely kind of like the way you absorbed and read this article, I saw the same thing too. I'm just kind of surprised, like it's 2024 and now there's like a pivot to improve it. I mean, I feel like an industry of this nature where, like you said, I'm looking at my notes right now, and that was one of the things I highlighted too, after 9/11 and how that was orchestrated, you know, maybe they didn't use cyber tools to gather information, but protection of information, availability in general probably had a hand in it as well. And that was, I'm bad at math, but 20 years ago or whatever, this day and age with the tools that we have our disposal, with how good these guys are at hacking and manipulation and creating these tools to gain accesses and gain information, it's a little like alarming to me that now it's like, hey, you know what? We need to update this. It needs an updater like
Yeah,
in 2024. I think, they talk about special conditions, like special condition systems, and they're really talking about, all the interconnected devices that either manage the airplanes or the maintenance of the airplanes or the communication of the airplanes. And we've seen this with industry before where, like IoT devices or integrated technology devices, now with AI, where there is these big technological advances, all of a sudden they interconnect to a lot of different things. And then they realize, hey, this can be used as a foothold to gain access into networks. We need to come up with at least the bare minimum guidance so people can go off of to protect these networks and these different industries. So, good on them for that part. I think it might be a little bit too late. Well, it's not too late, but I feel like it's later than it should be, especially
right.
for an industry as large as like air division. But it's for me that the scariest thing, like you said it originally, it's like they want you they're worried about the footprint for like maintenance of laptops to check planes, networks deployed at airports and airline gateways, wireless aircraft sensors and sensor networks, cellular networks, connected devices, satellite communications, GPS, and more. I'm like, well, are you kidding me? Like this, it's like a huge thing, right? This is kind of, we've seen it with these hackers doing ransomwares for hospitals, and I'm not trying to create the next Netflix or Max HBO hit, TV series here, but what's stopping someone from going, hey, we've hijacked the GPS or satellite communications to this airplane, you know, American Airlines, Delta pay us $5 million right now, or we're going to give them bad directions and we're just going to crash the plane.
You,
It's a
what
scary
what
world.
you're what you're describing? That's Die Hard 2.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
in the
yeah. It is.
80s.
It is.
No, let's be real, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
for
in the
real. Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, but I think we're at a point now that that is not so far-fetched and wouldn't be so hard to do if some of these guys really wanted to do it, which is a really scary place to be at. But so I don't know. Hopefully this snowballs quicker than, the last 20 years it's taken to get to where we're at right now. And hopefully what they implement is very robust, very, very detailed and scalable so that, because we're already seeing it, like engineering and maintenance of airplanes already is at the worst it's ever been. There's problems on airplanes every day, from the engines to like failures to like doors flying off
Yeah.
mid-flight or parts of the plane. So the airline industry, you need to get it with it, right? Like the physical part of the plane and then the IT part of the plane can't be both a problem, and then the cyber part too. So those are my thoughts, Ryan. What do you think?
I think I'm terrified. You just scared me very bad. That's what I think. But yeah, in all seriousness, like yeah, you're right. It is bad from a hardware, an IT, and a cyber perspective right now for airlines. That's pretty crazy. I never thought about that, and now I have to get on a plane in the future and think about that. Thanks, Daniel. But
I aim to please. I aim to please.
Look, when he's not going after billionaires, he's here to terrify. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, it's all good. But real quick, I'm gonna read this very quick ad, just as a placeholder, because this could be your ad. So, discover the other side of the firewall, your go-to cybersecurity podcast that dives deep in the world of GRC, with special focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Join host Ryan Williams and his expert co-hosts as they explore the latest in cybersecurity news, spotlight trailblazers in the field, offer valuable insights for both newcomers and seasoned professionals. Whether you're looking to break into the industry or stay ahead of the curve, the podcast delivers the stories, strategies you need to succeed. Tune in and stay connected to the ever-evolving world of cybersecurity. So ChatGPT just gave that to me. I literally just said, hey, give me a 1-paragraph ad. That's what it gave me. But this could be your ad, and it could be custom, curated, and tailored to your business. So there it is. So back on topic. Yeah, like this is long overdue. I'm glad they're finally doing it though, but I think it may be because of the powers that be, right? You always have the cycling of CEOs and security experts and IT guys and gals and so on and so forth. So it may just be that perfect combination where you finally have somebody at the helm who's like, hey, we got to take this thing seriously because of X, Y, or Z. Maybe they saw something, like maybe there's something that's undisclosed, like somebody tried to, bring down a plane or cause the fleet not be able to launch, et cetera, et cetera. Some new capability a near-peer has or something like that. It could be a combination of all the above. We don't know what they're disclosing to us and what they're not. So I'm glad that they're doing it. But yeah, you are correct though. I didn't think about that. It's just from like there was an article about obviously the doors blown off planes. That was a Boeing issue. But then I saw one where there was an electrical fire is isolated to just one person's seat assignment, right? But smoke and things of that nature caused a plane to have to divert and land. And it may have been a year ago or so, but it was not the person's fault. They just simply plugged in a laptop or their phone or wherever to charge. It was just a bad charging receptacle that caused them to have to come down as an emergency. So that's just what companies do, right? They want to spend the least amount of money possible to make the thing as profitable as possible. So I can only imagine from a cybersecurity perspective, like what are they taking seriously? What are they not taking seriously? And now the FAA has to step in and give them guidelines and rules.
So I think, sorry to interrupt here, man. So I think what comes with this, and it's not necessarily a cybersecurity thing, but some of these planes, when you look at how old they are and how long it's been since they've been manufactured and been in service, what you have to think about is the technology that's being created that has passed that by. So if somebody plugs something into the receptacle, right? Not the spectacle. It is a spectacle still, but receptacle. What you have to think about is what they may have been plugging into it is something that, is above the rating for whatever that outlet may have been, right? So like when they built that plane 15 years ago, a phone was only pulling this much power, but now it's this much, you know what I mean? Like what it may be to this day and age. And it just may not be keeping up on that stuff, because to the airlines, it is a business, right? They book those flights. Like this is something that's not very well known. Is they book those flights to over 100% capacity, right? Because they take into consideration that, okay, we think maybe 5% of the people that are booked are not going to make their flight, or they're going to not cancel or whatever. So we'll have somebody lined up for that. That way they try to keep the plane as full as possible at all times and make as much money. So when it comes down to the money game, like they're not putting money into refitting this, taking an airplane out of circulation for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it may be, to upgrade the wiring or whatever it may be. Unless it becomes major, I don't think they're really thinking about that type of stuff. And cybersecurity, kind of the same way, right? Like this article pretty much hits on it, because I think you're right. I think something happened that they don't want to get out, that they're like, we can't let this be known, but now we're going to go ahead and make sure all these things are taken care of.
Right. And as a passenger, so as a cybersecurity person, I would like to know what happened. But as a passenger, I don't want to know what happened. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have that thought in my head. It's the same reason why they edit movies like Flight. Flight plays on the plane. Mm-hmm. However, the crash scene is removed. Right? They don't instill panic in you while you're in a metal tube 30,000 feet above the ground. So.
That seems easy to avoid altogether, though. Just don't show that movie. I get that Denzel is a star, but come on now.
No, you're like, we show the movie, but we're cutting out the one of the best scenes in the movie. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, you don't want to instill panic and things of that nature. So I get it. Maybe transparency in this situation is not ideal. But I'm glad they're doing something about whatever transpired or whatever thought process or whomever is at the helm, whatever. Like, you're trying to be proactive, you're trying to fix it, or reactive, you're trying to fix it. So good on you. Hopefully Boeing gets their planes buttoned up better. And hopefully the FAA does instill this framework, because it's definitely necessary. It's necessary for all means of mass transit, because you do have to consider people's lives are in your hands, both within the vehicle, whatever it is, and outside of it, because like Shannon said, that these things can become weapons as well. Even trains that don't have people on it, right? Like if you derail a train with chemicals, things of that nature, now you impact the town or city that it's downwind from. So you just have to be very mindful of that, and I think that's what they're currently doing. So good on them.
And is it Boeing is the one that's supposed to create the ship that's supposed to get the people off the International Space Station too, or am I misremembering this? Boeing originally, I thought it was their liner or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to remember. I could be wrong on that. Because Elon was like, "Yeah, we got something. We can step in."
Right. But now they're saying they're not going to get those people until February
6 months
next year. Yeah. So that's pretty wild. They're stranded in space. That is, I think, like Lost in Space. Yeah, that was a TV show.
Yeah.
So, and they were only supposed to be there for 8 days. That's the thing. So they only bought like stuff for like 8 days. So like they're wearing clothes for extended amount of time, like things you don't really think about when you're in space. Like there's all this stuff that's coming out. You're just like, oh wow, okay, well,
yeah,
that sucks.
That's why we need a space elevator.
A space elevator? Ooh.
Yeah, like it's so it can be done. Like it's not science fiction. It's just very, very expensive. You can build it, and like literally it could be a dock that rotates with the Earth, and they can dock with the space elevator, and they can bring freight up and down. Like why are we not building this? Come on, Elon, you want to build weird shaped cars? Build a space elevator. Let's knock this out.
Get on it.
I think the risk of terrorism would just be too much. Like that's just how I feel. So you guys ever seen the movie Contact? I think it's Contact. Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, because remember you had that group that was like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this, that, and the third, and then they blew up. Yeah. Like I think that's what they're thinking about. You're not trying to pay trillions of dollars, because it'll be trillions with a T if you build this, right? For some group to be like, hey, we don't like it, and do something to blow it up. We can't even secure planes. Like, how are we going to secure this?
That's true.
Space
secure a door,
right?
Can't secure a door on an airplane. Forget about the other stuff. But it's a good segue back into the article. Maybe to round it up, though, is the biggest takeaway from this article, though, is that the airline industry. If you've ever met somebody that does the air traffic control, it's a very difficult job. And then you have, purchasing the tickets. You have all these logistics that are in the background. That if cybersecurity can't be a linchpin that's faulty in this structure, because there's too many moving parts, and every part that's moving along in airplane travel is as important as the next. It's very easy to intercept and interject yourself as a threat to bring the whole thing down. So that's why I think this is really long overdue. And FAA's got really smart people, smarter than me. They're going to do right by it, and the people are going to be safe, and we're going to be better for it moving forward to the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a positive note.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you for reining us in. You're talking about space elevators and stuff. We'll definitely continue to tune in to the podcast. So again, Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. And then Fridays, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Hit up all the websites that go by our name, The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on all the platforms. And where can they find you, Daniel?
On LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.